Welcome, everyone. We use Google Slides all the time, but there is so much more you can do besides just text and bullet points. Today, we're going to look at some creative techniques that you can use today to transform your lessons into interactive and exciting projects with your students. We're going to look at 5 key ways to make your slides more dynamic. Graphic organizers, using images and shapes, creating animation, recording in slides, and using Keep in order to add a drawing right onto your slide. To get started, I would recommend that you follow along with me. Create a new blank presentation with a blank layout. Now that you have your blank slate so that you can start being creative, you're going to go to the Insert menu. You're going to insert a diagram. You can choose from grid, hierarchy, timeline, process, relationship, or cycle. Once you have made that selection, you can then choose how many and your color. I chose relationship and the number 2. Then I looked over on the sidebar and I chose the representation that I was looking for. Next, I can customize. I can click on my separate sections here and I can change or alter the colors. I can change the fill color as well as the border. I can also add text. You can even change the background of your slide to make your graphic organizer pop even more. Here's some ideas of how you could use your graphic organizer. You could post this as an example to your Google Classroom. You could create an assignment in your Google Classroom, giving every student a copy. Offline activities, you could print this graphic organizer to add it to an anchor chart. You could print and laminate a larger one so that students could write on it with whiteboard markers, or you could print a small copy for each student. Add a new slide to try out our next creative technique. To insert a GIF or a sticker, you can go to the Insert menu, but I find it handier to just click on this picture icon right here and then select GIF or a sticker. Once you add your image, you can then crop your image to a different shape. For example, I cropped my GIF into a circle. Next to the picture icon is the shapes icon. You can click here and you can add a variety of shapes and even equations to your slide. Once you have added those shapes, you can click on them to select them, and then you will see this menu up here where you can control the color, the fill color, as well as the outline color and how thick the outline would be. You can click and drag the edges of your shape in order to make it bigger or smaller. You can then continue adding a variety of shapes and colors with different kinds of edges so that it makes your design interesting. Up at the top, you can use the Arrange menu to align your objects. Click on one of your shapes, then hold down the Shift button on your keyboard and click another shape. Then go up to Arrange and you can align those objects on the left, on the right, in the center, in a variety of ways. I used Arrange to line up my objects from left to right. I then used Distribute in the Arrange menu to make sure that my objects were the equal distance apart. Next to the shapes icon, I can use this lines button to add different kinds of lines that connect my shapes. I can choose fun colors and even fun end marks to decorate my slide. Using shapes and images is a great way to create your own graphic organizer. You can even assign this slide to your students, giving every student a copy. This could even become an art project. Ask your students to create groups of objects that go together. Ask your students to drag shapes around to make a pattern. Ask your students to drag shapes into a 10 frame for math concepts. Ask your students to create their own design. Earlier, we explored adding a GIF to your slide. Now we're going to create your own animation. Add a new blank slide and then add shapes, images, or even your own Bitmoji to make a character. Just a caveat to think about. The age restriction for creating your own Bitmoji is 13, and you need your parents' permission. However, you can easily make a character just using shapes and layering them. You can right click to layer the images, and you can order, bring to front, forward, and backward to create your character. To create this character, I used the shapes of a triangle and some rectangles. I grabbed a picture from the internet to make my shoes, and then I just layered them to the back. So it looks like my feet are in my shoes, but really they're just rectangles. So you can add your character in the same way. You will be repeating these steps a number of times. Once you have your character, you'll be moving your character only a little and then duplicating. Then move your character a little and then duplicating again and again and again. Be thinking about other animations that you could have in your class. Could you do the water cycle and have characters move? Your characters then would be clouds and rain. Or could you animate a math problem where the numbers move, such as a regrouping problem? Think about ways that you could use animation to liven up your lesson. Here's a tip to help you with your animation. I used the crop tool and copy and pasted my image several times to help me make it look like the arms and legs were moving. I cropped out just the legs, for example, and then I had legs that I could move around so that it made it look like my character that was just a static image had movable legs and arms. Next, you can add items moving left to right or right to left, just like a story. Think about repeating this process 100 or 200 times or even more to make an entire movie. You can make your animation as simple or as elaborate as you want for your needs. When you're finished making your slides, you are going to make it move automatically. Click the File menu and publish to the web. Notice that you'll want it to move every second. You'll want it to start as soon as the player loads and restart so it continually plays over and over again. Once you click publish, you will get a link. The link isn't posted anywhere until you have put it someplace. So in this case, I'm only embedding it here on my slides. I'm going to edit my link, and instead of it saying 1000 milliseconds, I'm going to change that 1000 to 200, more or less, to make it play even faster so that it looks like a cartoon. You can see how my animation turned out. Another way you can use Publish to the Web is to create a running slideshow. So you can put pictures into your Google Slides presentation, and then you can just autoplay that in the same way that we did the animation. Of course, you wouldn't want it to be so fast so that people could see the slideshow. As mentioned before, you can use your animated slides to show a process, to have students animate a story, to add some short attention getters to your lesson, or to ask students to show their learning with animation. If you have the premium license for Google Workspace for Education, you are able to make a recording directly from slides. And that is actually how I am recording this training. You can record up to 30 minutes for your Google Slides presentation. In addition, you can make separate recordings for each slide. That way, if there's a mistake, you can just re record on a single slide. After recording, you can insert your recording into your slide. It's a quick way to give some verbal instructions to your students. A couple of quick tips if using the recording feature. Up at the top, you can click your speaker spotlight to resize your speaker icon and make it exactly the size that you want and position it exactly where you want it to be instead of using these buttons over on the right. In addition, you can choose to turn off your camera and only record your voice. In the right sidebar of Google Slides is Google Keep. You can use Google Keep to add a quick drawing to your slides. Click Google Keep and then open in a new tab so you can see the whole screen. Click on the drawing tool. Keep has a variety of drawing tools as well as colors and even backgrounds. In the sidebar of Google Slides, you can click on the three dots to add this note to your slide. In this way, you can use Google Keep to quickly annotate on your Google slide to clear up any misunderstandings from your students. I hope you are inspired to try out some of these new, fresh, creative ideas for your Google Slides. Don't forget to hit the like button for this video and subscribe to my channel.